Test, test, test. Let's see here. Good day, everybody. Hello. Good day, everybody. Hello. Alright. Like I said, good to see you all, and welcome to episode 24 of the Grimdark D&D campaign. I have a lot to talk about, actually. So, let me first make sure the game is working. There we go. And I'm going to talk about it with you while I do some Silverpine foresting. We're almost level 17, which is going to be the goal of today. And I would like to start off with a story, because this campaign is based off of my interest in medieval history, specifically the Wars of the Roses, but also the Plantagenet campaign. It also is a deep dive into Warhammer 40k and its deep worlds and deep lore. And out of those two interests, I have created the Grimdark D&D campaign that you're listening to at the end of these episodes. And yesterday I had a resurgence of that campaign. I had a meeting with a friend of mine, and I went to the bookstore. I bought some books by Dan Jones about the Plantagenets and about Henry V. I have studied the Wars of the Roses quite extensively, and I think I understand it now in its basics. However, to understand the Wars of the Roses and to understand Henry VI, it's important to understand Henry V, and to understand Henry V, it's actually quite important to understand Edward II. So I am in this huge historical vortex of England and France, and it jives so well with Warhammer 40k. Essentially what I'm doing is I'm creating a Grimdark campaign that follows major events during the English Civil War, and I'm really trying to look at what was it called again? Barbaric feudalism, I think it's called. It's when people stick to their lord more than they do for the cause, which is essentially what happens with a lot of factions in Warhammer 40k. Like, they all serve the Emperor in a way, but they have their own ideas about it, which is what makes them interesting. And I am actually trying to create a offshoot of the Emperor that's actually sort of the son of the Emperor, who appears to be weak, not in the Horus kind of way, because Horus is, corrupted, but I actually try to emulate more of Henry VI tendencies, who is considered a bad king, but he also did some good. That's what's interesting about him. And the goal is really to have my players explore these different factions and explore these different outlooks on life, on the war, on the crown, and see how the God Emperor is different from a king. Because the God Emperor, see, what I like about the Emperor is that he doesn't call himself a God Emperor. He is pretty much, he renounces religion in a way, yet people are religious about him. I find that to be a very interesting conundrum, but what if we actually have a king who does think of himself as holier than thou and is essentially just working for the personal agenda of others. Like, what would a corrupted emperor look like, and how would it involve and affect the realm? That's what I'm trying to find out in the Grimdark D&D campaign. And it's funny because the Plantagenet Wars, as well as Henry V's crusade, and then Henry VI's sort of regression of that whole war, just lends itself for an interesting alternative story. And then, of course, in my story, I weaved in Space Wolves because those are my guys in Warhammer 40k, and I sort of try to think of in what ways Space Wolves and Viking creed would fix corruption, which is very anachronistic, if you will. But it's also probably historically wrong, because the Vikings essentially just sort of blended in whatever region they were, and they at one point they stopped having raids. But my version of the story would actually be that the willingness to raid is what would destroy corruption. That's sort of the theme I'm going for, and it's up to the players to do with that whatever they want. It's definitely a storyline that I use for whenever demons or chaos gods enter in the campaign. That's when, that theme comes back every time. So that's quite interesting. Now, in addition to that plan, that story, let me tell you what happened yesterday. So, as I said, I was with a friend and I bought the history books by Dan Jones about the Plantagenets and Henry V. And then I decided I wanted to show her the Games Workshop. So I went in, and there was this American fellow who sort of said, "Hey, what are you guys doing here?" And I said, "Well, I'm gonna look at Warhammer." And then all of a sudden, my friend, she said, "Oh, look, these are free." And she pointed at the kill team box for the Space Wolves, and a switch went off in my mind. It was like my eyes turned black, and I bought the kill box. I bought the book Siege of Holy Terra, and I bought the magazine. And the dude who addressed us, he looked at me and said, "Ah, you're a Space Wolf fan, huh?" I said, "Yeah." Because I was a little bit apprehensive, because I know how people think about Space Wolves. And he asked me, "What are you going to do about the base?" And I said, "I don't know. I haven't have a plan yet." And he said, Gotcha. Have you seen that statue over there, that figurine or other?" And he pointed at, I think it was, it wasn't Lehman Russ, but it was a heroic figure. I should check out which Space Wolf it was. He said the name, and I was more like, "Oh shit, he's a Space Wolf fan." And then the moment started where we almost embraced each other's arm. Like, he said, "You're a Space Wolf fan?" I said, "I'm a Space Wolf fan." And we were just talking about how good the Space Wolves were. And honestly, it was as if I served in a regiment and he recognized me or something. It was such a cool moment. And I was just like, "Oh shit. Oh no. I'm getting into Warhammer 40k now." Now, of course, as you have seen, if you follow the channel, I mean, this is episode 24, I have been flirting with Warhammer 40k quite a bit. Like, I think D&D is the gateway drug to hobbies like this. Video games might as well be, by the way. Yeah, I think I'm going all in, which is the worst timing because of my some things that are happening in real life with my career, but also because I'm becoming a father in 2 months. So it's the worst timing to start this hobby, but I kind of thought, yeah, that's the joke. That's why I should do it. It was insane reasoning, honestly. But yeah, here I go. I'm gonna create a Space Wolf army. It's happening. And I'm thinking of having 2 armies to battle each other and to, to diversify with whoever I'm meeting. But the guy, he was an American. He said, well, if you need help, just come on over. We have paint days. I just might. Why not? It's good to have a hobby. So, yeah, that's really what happened yesterday. It's insane. Now, all the other things, like I think I talked about it last week, like all the things I have to do. Well, I applied for a job at university, so that's good. Another university, not the one I work at right now. And so that's what was going on. I did some work. I did some house, like man cave cleaning. Although I'm gonna have to do that a little bit more. My car is broken down again. So I had to send it. I'm sending it back to the garage, and I'll probably have another car. But that's a lot of work, by the way. It's luckily it's not ruining me financially yet, but it is very stressful. The fucking engine just disengages all the time. It's not fun, not chill. Now I did some workouts, like I've been doing push-ups every day. I can do 30 now, so I think that's going to be a norm for every day. And it's weird because when I started, I couldn't do 8, but then I just pushed through, and now I'm okay with doing 30 in a row. So that's good. I should keep that up. Are there any other things? No, actually, things are looking up. Things are looking good. There's just some projects I have to do for work, and I have to check a bunch of tests. But that's all I really have to do. And other than that, well, I have to fix my car and I have to get in shape. But the other thing that is really happening now, I need to come up with some sort of plan for my personal hobbies. Because I think well, for example, right, I did some D&D planning. I did that really early, and that was really nice. It was nice to wake up early and start off right away with some D&D planning. And then, as I went on, I also started to play one game at a time. Like, I booted up Dark Souls 3 again, because I thought, you know what? Gaming is fun, but playing multiple games at once, it takes away so much time out of your day. So it's gonna be, this is a little bit ironic for me to say because my next video will be a Dark and Darker video. But my point is that focusing on one game at a time is hard, but it's kind of necessary at this stage. Now also, of course, I have my Warhammer 40k hobby that's, starting to develop now. And honestly, I think I'm gonna mesh it together with D&D. I don't know how, but I think it's just good to kind of habitualize the D&D writing. Like right now, what I usually do is whenever I read a book, I will write down beautiful English words that I can use for the campaign. When I play games, I have a little notebook which moments I thought were, emergent storytelling moments to use for D&D. And from that, I sort of jumble all those notes together. I fiddle around a little bit with AI art. And from there, usually, I sort of just create something that's then going to be reviewed for D&D mechanics. Because the thing is, right, D&D, I mean, homebrew is all fun, and writing is very fun. But it's best when you make sure it abides by a rule system. Because even though rules may sound a little bit like, alright, they're just trying to sound like academic or something, the thing with rule sets in gameplay narrative systems is that these are the things that allow for emergent storytelling. And I think it's fairly important to facilitate that. It's essentially what makes everything fun for me as well. Like, I'm continuously looking for motivation to work out. I'm continuously looking forward to motivation to take responsibility. I'm continuously looking for a motivation to actually get up and do shit. But the thing is, maybe it's not motivation that I'm looking for. Maybe it's a sort of purpose. And the purpose that I find to be the most worthwhile, and I know that there's a lot of people online that have this as well. Like, for example, I don't know if you know Josh Barnett. He's a very famous fighter, but he's also an enthusiast when it comes to narrative. And he has this whole theory that emergent storytelling is the art form that comes with sports, in a way, and specifically combat sports. And when he said that, I sort of realized, you know what my jam is? It's emergent storytelling. I love that. I love the idea that something can happen in a sequence of events that creates some emotional sparks. And if I adopt that as the ultimate purpose, then how is life not emergent storytelling? How is, working out, doing the household, being a pro at work, creating interesting narratives combining Warhammer 40k with the Wars of the Roses, how is that not emergent storytelling? So yeah, I'm kind of making peace with that. And honestly, ever since I sort of laid that out in front of me, I've been getting up earlier. Like I usually sleep 8 hours a night, and now I've jammed that into 6 hours because I'm like, oh, I'm ready to go. So yeah, that's good. I'm not sure if it's gonna stay because work and routines definitely take away at whatever goal you seem to have when you have some time off. But yeah, that seems to be where I'm headed. So yeah, there you go. Now also, I saw some photos of myself at the baby shower, and I just realized that I look like a biker, and I think it would be very cool if I look like a biker, but I watch anime and I collect space wolves. So I have a self-image of that sort of strong, nerdy dude that likes a beer every now and then, but also is like Travis from Critical Role. I think that's sort of... I'm nearing that kind of look. I'm not as funny or as quick-witted as he is, and I'm pretty moody, but I think it's an overall good value structure to pursue. I mean, I don't really have a role model anymore. That's something that changes when you're in your 30s. But I definitely, when I look at myself, I'm like, oh yeah, checks out. I could go for the Kratos who collects Space Marines, watches anime, and plays D&D, like a super nerd, but that looks a little bit like a biker, essentially. And maybe that is a little bit vain, but on the other hand, you know, dudes visualize. So if I visualize myself in a certain way that motivates me, I mean, what do I care if it's vain? So yeah, that's been my week. I hope you have a great week. I hope you're in good health, and I hope that you see these videos as a break from whatever you're going through, whatever your storytelling is. I think the best ways of life is telling stories to each other and actually listening, picturing you're in that story when someone tells it to you. Genuinely be interested, you know? That's also something that I need to remind myself of when I get into the Warhammer 40k D&D thing. Like, I'm pretty much invested in my own discovery in how Warhammer 40k and the Wars of the Roses have these interesting interconnectivities, or rather, Rogue Trader and the Wars of the Roses. Now I know that the Rogue Trader is more like Oliver Cromwell kind of colonialism fiction in a way, but no, I find the medieval times, especially around the Wars of the Roses, to be very, very technical in a way. Like, it was a sandbox time. Anyway, my point is, I have to be careful not to get too lost in the sauce with that and actually allow the players to have their interpretations and run with that. Like, I cannot force their interpretation, nor is that my goal. Alright, let's go to Ivor's patch. North of the bridge. Arugal. I remember Arugal. Isn't that the guy in Shadowfang Keep? I think it is. So anyway, let me start. Let me start. The episode. So last time, our heroes leveled up. They're level 2 now, and they ventured forth after rescuing Lilith of Anjou, who now has turned into a human form. She used to be blue, now she's human. And they continue to proceed to locate Valorhold, the floating fortress in which uppegandarf, the space wolf essentially, will be transported to Valhalla to serve there as well. Not as a dreadnought, no, as sort of like Odin, who wields Grungi, the laser spear. So yeah, that's that. It's not here. Malden Orchard, no. So yeah, let me play the episode for you guys. Enjoy.
Have you refreshed your coffee?
I have, and
Nice.
with that, I'm RTG. Last time was actually quite a refreshing time because you all had a bit of a pit stop to reflect on what your character means in a heavy combat situation. We concluded that, on the whole, the party is quite assertive, quite going in first hand, and you know, in terms of tactics, it seems to be that Thurbrack takes the choke hold position or the bottleneck positions, whereas Balan and Eldenesh seem to team up to tee off on the enemy. We then went on to shopping, and you all bought an upgrade of sorts, including the serums of healing, which proved to be quite necessary. And furthermore, what had happened after was that there was this giant laser that was shot at Selgin and Alex. At that beam, they threw a sort of emitter at Balan, who caught it and took it away. After that, the Lord Commander Fitter, he recruited Balan into the army, making her a member of the Gundahar Miofra Kingdom, or the Mercenary Kingdoms, I should say, and she is now a private. What followed on was a climb up a giant rock, where Thurbrak sort of reminisced on the nature of the barbarians, knowing that they bear an uncanny resemblance to the Gundahar warlords that raised his village. And I think that covers most of it, actually. Were there any other things that you guys distinctly remember from last session?
When we got to the top of the plateau, because we decided to climb rather than walk through the cave, which was a good decision. It turned out the little canyon that we could have walked through was created by the massive laser.
Yes.
Which has been repeatedly firing, and when we climbed up to the top of the hill, or the plateau, and saw, sort of in the distance, it was being fired out of a city, which is where we're going to go to. And I think where we left off last time was just sort of making our way again around these weird puddles of like radioactive goo. Someone saw some shiny crystals.
Yeah.
Which I think were space drugs of some sort.
Ibishmore meant for becoming talkative. Yeah.
Yeah. Saw a few more of those bugulons. And sort of as we were planning on sneaking around them, we heard sounds of gunfire in the distance. So I think we are now just sort of making our way around the radioactive pools rather than going through the caves underneath them in case there are more bugulons in the caves.
Yep.
Sort of slowly making our way up around and then closer to the sounds of the gunfire, hoping it is friends.
With the terrifying cliffhanger of you failing a stealth check.
Yes, I did do that because I rolled 6.
Yeah, well, let's just say that you sort of...
I am not a stealthy boy.
Oh, you just fell down, you sprained your ankle, and you were...
Just stood on a fallen crystal, create a large crunching sound.
Yeah, exactly. Then you said, "Oh, I fell on my ass."
That's not what I sound like. Oh yeah, and then I had my ongoing battle with the Roll20 character sheet, where it doesn't want to do my armor correctly for some reason. So I just have to remember that armor is 1 higher than it actually is.
Okay, sure. That's cool. Now, we will continue on where we left off. Balan sort of took point and stealthed their way up there. For the record, if you go here, that will lead to a different part of the city than if you were to go here.
And I think the sounds of gunfire were coming from over here, weren't they?
Coming from underneath the...
Oh, underneath.
The tunnels.
Oh, okay.
Is there... I mean, that might be subject for a perception check, but can we discern any difference from where we are to the city if we were to like go to the left or to the right here?
Good question. First of all, good morning, man.
Good.
Let's see. If you were to go here, you would definitely risk some more radioactive puddles, but it will lead you to the sort of to a side of the city in which you can get a pretty good vantage point. But if you were to go here, you can actually go up some of the spires and have a top view of the city.
Mm. Well, as an elf, I do look down on others, so I know which one I want.
Nice.
Very good. So, why don't we start off with Private Balan, or Private Nell, as she didn't give her full name. And yeah, tell us where you're continuing on this stealthily approach.
Having just heard a massive as Thurbrek stands and crushes the crystal.
Yeah.
Well, excellent. Very stealthy.
I
Stealth
mean,
capabilities subpar.
Yeah. I mean, definitely gotta avoid these horrid-looking pools. It would be maybe prudent for somebody with a bigger gun to get up here. Well, I don't know. Is that elevated? It kind of looks elevated, but it might be just a crater.
it looks like a crater. But again, I think the map we're using is like meant to be for like a planet's surface.
Yeah.
I mean, if you stand on the side of the crater, it would be elevated.
Is that what it is? No, it's not. I don't think.
I think this is meant to be like an impact crater.
Yeah, I could see that. I could also see it like as another tunnel opening because it looks like it kind.
Yeah, I see what you
Right,
mean, Trapo, but I believe it is like a terrain map because of the
Okay.
crystals. At least I remember buying it as such.
Sure.
But I see what you mean.
It could double as a planet map then. You've got a 2-for-1 deal then. Is it also upside down? Because I've just noticed the watermark in the top left-hand corner, the writing's upside down.
Yeah, but on the bottom right you see the correct one.
Right. Okay.
So no, Balan, this is a ramp, sort of a. I don't know what those termites do to make sand go upward like that. That's sort of what it looks like. Not that termites have anything to do with this.
And Belon will look back to Eldinesh and the others, and just
investigate troops in contact or continue north.
Every time with that voice.
good.
I should know to expect it by now.
Just get one ourselves.
I mean, assuming you two are stage whispering next to each other, think I'm like 30 feet, so I don't know if I'll be able to hear what you're saying. I'm also in a little dip at the moment.
Or does Balan announce it with the same volume as you just did?
Oh, that's right. I don't know if
Just
we have
yell it out
communicators,
loud.
right?
I mean, I've got a personal comm unit because I specifically
Yeah.
bought one. I don't know if you guys have got one.
Well, we had a chance to get some stuff.
That's true.
So-
You could have bought one for a grand total of 7 credits.
I know, right? Yeah, so I would kind of assume we all have comms now.
Apparently
And,
not.
Because it depends whether or
Yeah.
not the DM will say retroactively say, "Oh yeah, you could have bought a comm unit if you wanted to."
But you
Got-
fucking didn't, you tools.
But you
so-
fucking didn't, so no comm
Yeah.
units for you.
To do this, it
then
will...
just to you, Eldinesh. Just to you.
Okay.
Eldanesh will take a look at these bugs. Have the... Do they look worse for wear from this gun firing that's been going on, or...
Yeah, can we see from here? Are they the ones being shot at?
They are being shot at. They do not look worse for wear. Eldanesh, they look like they have the ferocity of insects that are just bigger. There's no the only thing that you can deduce from any sort of emotional intelligence is just absolute aggression and hatred.
Seeing as how we had about trouble the first time we encountered these, and looking back at our party, I don't think we can handle 3 at the same time.
They're also pretty big.
Yes, that factors in too. In addition to that, there might actually be more here, so...
So, yeah, I think we should avoid them, and I will maybe like stealth north and look ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, Eldanesh will, after you have asked your question, just take a look at the bugs and take a look back at you and just motion towards north.
Yep.
Ooh, baby.
Very good. That works.
Disappears into the wind.
Balan is
They
in
will
the
Yeah.
in the exit area, as you'd say.
Eldinesh like points north, and then when he like glances back where Balan was, like she's just gone.
You're right.
You've been hit by a spoof criminal.
You hear it softly in the wind, a chamon.
Right. Well, with no disregard to the King of Pop, Eldanesh, how do you approach this?
Well, I suppose I will also try to stealth my way north.
Very well.
Stealth.
Beautiful.
Also quite good.
See, I never met a player just like you. Come so easy. I love you, slickbalking me. Okay. Now, Thurbrak. Something occurs as you close the distance with the Lord General and Anjou. She says she's starting to regain some consciousness, and she says something like, "Oh, reunite me with Triadus, please, Commander." And he says, Yes, soon enough. I think our king is awake. Still alive as well. Please, be quiet. She starts...
Do I know the name Triadus?
Yeah, that's the king. She is referring to Archking Triadus Infaldus of Mariabok, who is the king of the Vale, essentially, but has been somewhat deposed because of irrational behavior by other minor leechdoms. You, by the way, you serve...
Oh, he's the guy in with the golden crown and big thing, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's just the little sheet.
Yeah, and in terms of hierarchy, you work for the Freedom, the mercenaries of the Leventrinsk Empire.
Yeah.
And the Leventrinsk Empire has deals with the king. So you are indirectly subservient to Triadus Infaldus.
Sure. I mean, their wreck does not think that much about politics.
Very good.
That is not his concern. All he knows is there a job to do? How much am I getting paid for it?
Exactly.
Is it against the Gundahith barbarians? Potentially the ones that screwed him over and killed his family? Even better. He may even do it for free. Let's see if we can keep their stuff. Right. Since we're all sneaking up, let's make another attempt at sneaking. No. 8. Nope. Crunch, 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 crunch. Who put all these crystals on the ground?
Well, it really depends on what the Lord Commander is throwing as well. Because if he fucks this up as well, then there's a problem. Oh, right, and you
Well-
can't walk that fast.
No, if we're stealthing and going a half movement, I only have 20 feet of movement. So I get to move. Nope, they're fine.
No, wait, I threw it wrong.
No, those is an 8.
There we go, 16. 16 is
Still-
fine.
200% better than what I did.
And from underneath the cave, you suddenly hear a sort of chitinous crawl coming near you, and you can see inside the cave the shimmering of the green Ibishmore crystals, and a shadow appears.
Oh,
And-
shite.
The silhouette of said shadow is sort of spider-like.
Oh, that's even worse.
And
I mean, do I see 8 glowing eyes coming out of the darkness towards me as well?
no, it's like it's around the corner, so he hasn't seen you yet.
Okay.
You get one more chance for a stealth check.
Alright. Shall I make that now, or should we do that when everyone else has had their move as well?
I think you should do that right now.
Again, that should be a +3, not a +2. Cool. Oh my... I don't like this character sheet. It's not reflecting things properly. It's annoying me. Because that should be a 2 as well.
Something wrong with your character sheet, mate.
Yeah, it's taken like -1 off of a bunch of stats randomly, and I don't know why. I've probably done it wrong, because I've created my character sheet on that Hephaestus one as well, because that one's a lot friendlier to use, and also calculates everything.
Okay.
Okay, let's try again. Stealth, attempt number 3. 11. Slightly better, but still not great.
That is better. Okay, you can safely walk upwards.
Boop. That's it.
Alright. Alright, and Thurbrek, if there's anything you want to find out on this map, you can do that now, or you can move on to the north if you wish, and then we can go to the second bit.
I was tempted to grab some of those space crystals, but there's a giant fucking spider there, so let's not do that.
Always a giant fucking spider.
Always a giant spider. It's old Shelob.
Yeah.
No, I don't think there's anything else we need to know about. Unless has the sound of gunfire changed at all?
No.
Reduced, gotten louder.
No, but what you do hear, that is quite. You are merc, so you know this. At the moment that you fight humans or humanoids, there is chatter amongst the team. They'll say stuff like resupply or target is over there. You hear none of that. All you hear is the chitinous sounds of insectoids and the occasional roar. But also that roar sounds insect-like. So the gunfire doesn't stem from humanoids. You know that now.
Insects with guns? What is this madness? Okay. Well, let's just get out of here. How many more goddamn stealth checks is it gonna take for me to get?
No, like I said, you can just move forward freely if there's nothing else you wish to do.
Then let's get out of here.
Okay, guys. So, you walk across the desert, and a sandstorm is picking up. Sandstorm sort of blinds the party for a brief moment, and you do realize that you've taken a path that has these various bubbles. Now, do you guys have anything to look through a desert storm?
No.
I don't think so. Hang on. I've got an actual dark vision, but it's not dark, it's just physical blocks.
Sand.
I've got a flashlight, but again, I don't know how much help that's going to be.
Not much.
Has my
Because
armor got
it's
anything built
daylight.
into it?
I can see into the future
I
and
mean,
do.
you have environmental protections in armor.
That's true, but I'd imagine that is... I've got a helmet that has a closing visor on it, so I won't get sand in my eyes. But I don't think it's got like any special thermo view or anything built in.
Yeah, there's no visibility. Like, we won't necessarily suffer from the sandstorm itself, but we can't see through it with any. We don't have any all specs.
Understood. So, Eldenesh, let's start with you. While the sandstorm is sort of annoying and it every once in a while it sort of thrusts you backwards, you can maneuver quite agile through it. I'd like you to throw a fortitude save.
Whoa.
Thank you. And Balan, the sandstorm proves to be really, really annoying for you because the sand goes into your augmented biomechanical new body, and it's just not made for these kinds of conditions. So you need to come up with a plan to clean this all out once you're safe. I also want from you a fortitude save, please. Okay. And Litrpg,
Yep.
you are not made for the sandstorms.
No, I'd imagine walking on and through sand and heavy armor, I'm sort of thinking into the floor every now and then. Have like, if you can drag my legs out with each step.
Making your beard mighty itchy.
And it's sort
Right,
of.
fine.
I'm not
I feel like I've got a helmet on this thing.
I'm not sure how stress resistant Thoroughbred is, but this is also like all the fucking sand is going into that armor.
Oh, right in the servos.
And it's just you can walk really. Yeah, it's either perseverance or it's just crying, really.
He's not going to cry, but he is going to be muttering under his breath constantly. All
right, you two, please throw a fortitude save.
No, actually, I do have the species trait slow but steady.
Yeah.
So I have my baseline 20 foot, which is never modified when encumbered or wearing heavy armor. So I feel like maybe a bit of that could be played in. So the heavy armor isn't actually dragging me down as much as it would be.
Right.
Because he's slow, but he's getting there. But sand is still getting everywhere too. So he's still grumbling about that because he's a dwarf and he has to grumble. It's required.
It's the
law.
It's in the manual.
If you're a dwarf, you've got to grumble about something. It's one of the special dwarven education classes you take when you're very young.
Mm-hmm.
How to grumble properly.
Who did you want to do the perception checks?
I want him to do a fortitude save.
Fortitude. Where is fortitude?
It's on your character sheet somewhere.
Saving throws beneath health.
Getting through his health. There we are. Fortitude. Go. 8. Why am I rolling so terribly today?
Natural 1.
Why am I rolling so terribly? I have a +7 to fortitude.
You threw a natural 1.
Yeah. If I just...
Is that an automatic fail?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh dear. I feel like I just step in quicksand and get devoured.
Well, you're not.
Is gone.
Okay. Well, for the sake of fair play, get a Benny for how you just said that. Because is it
quicksand?
Well, it feels like quicksand at first, and your brain, you are sort of like, oh, this is totally quicksand, and then Thoroughbred realizes, well,
why does quicksand have teeth?
Well, and also, this is way too hot for quicksand. What is going on? And as you look down, you see that you are standing in a puddle, strangely enough.
Oh.
But it's sort of grainy, and after a while, you realize that you're standing in a radiated pool.
Shite! Just immediately yanks the lead out, back up a couple steps, just starts like shaking his leg.
You can throw
any liquid off.
You can throw a 1d6.
Okay. 5.
Right. You get 2 constitution damage.
Ooh.
How does that work?
Yeah, so this is kind of...
Is that points of stamina,
damage.
or as in my ability with my...
While you have the constitution damage at least the 2, it will reduce your total stamina by 1 point per level. So 2 in this case.
Okay.
So you have -2 constitution
I have...
ability score.
Oh, what?
Okay, guys, that was way too chunky. Those frostbolts from those Delarn mages, that's not a good thing. And I just checked my character, and This is something that happens a lot with me. Every time I play early game, I kind of forget my gear. And it's such a dangerous thing to forget at these levels because the damage increments really, really get higher. So we gotta sell some stuff and we gotta twink our character actually. So let's get down to business. Oh, I got kicked out of the guild. Huh. Okay. That's fair. Okay. 22 silver, that's not a lot. Let's first sell some stuff. Hey, mate. Finds one equipped, so that's going to the auction. Yeah, it's still food, so I guess we can just put it there. That's also food, probably need that still. Also something to sell on the auction. This is soulbound. I'm not gonna use it. So why am I not using this? It gives a +5 for stamina. I can use staves. Okay. That's definitely something to learn. Because it's better in many ways. Tough jerky. Okay. Vial. Infantry braces. I can sell this. Simple robe of the whale is better than the journeyman robe. Intellect is not that important. And you can't really, I mean, look at the damage we just got. So this is also something that's going on in the auction house. Okay, well, let's first start off by equipping this and probably selling this. Let's head on over to the auction house. We are looking at 24 silver. Not a whole lot. Create some bandages. I can't believe the depth fields is a green quest, because it was actually kind of hard. I mean, think of the mistakes I would have made if this was a yellow quest. Then most probably the character would have died because of my negligence on his gear. So yeah. Oh, my game is crashing. Ah, there we are. Let me continue playing the episode.
As well.
No, that's it.
Yeah, it affects your fortitude saves going forward too, until it heals. Damage can be healed. Drain sucks.
Yeah, and,
Oh, it's drain, right?
and
Okay.
in your ability scores, you can see
Oh, is
penalty.
it where it says DNR?
No, to the left. It says penalty.
PRN.
PEN.
Oh, pen.
I think that you
Yeah.
can put it there.
A
Yeah, you
minus
put
2 into
minus
there.
2. It'll do it all.
Okay.
I-
Oh,
I
Lost two-
assume.
lost 2 stamina points. I mean, yeah, I'm not being conscious of how loud I'm being as I've noticed I've stepped in this. I'm very much leg has been yelled out. I've yelled "fucking hell" at basically the top of my voice, and I'm just jiggling my leg frantically from side to side, trying to get all this radioactive goo off my leg.
Oh, the dwarf, be quiet.
Radioactive bottles.
Yeah,
That
it's
puddle-
not. It's not over though.
Puddles going in the Great Book of Grudges.
Um. Okay, we'll do this later. But you do realize, dear Thurbrak, that as you stepped in and you step out of it, you sort of shake it off and you grumble exactly. But as you walk behind the Lord Commander, Aldenesh, and Balan, you first thought it was just a sandstorm. But as that sandstorm is laying down, you can definitely tell that you are feeling sick and dizzy and like it's that feeling that you hopefully don't have too much in real life, but it's like, oh shit, I'm fucked. So yeah, just so you know,
Weird.
you are irradiated.
Oh, fuck. What does that do?
Um
Is that like a status modifier, like poisoned?
no, that stacks to it. So you every 24 hours this cycle continues. But if it's fixed with a health check or heal check, it'll be a temporal heal for 24 hours until you go to some sort of med clinic. However, if that heal check fails every 24 hours, you also get the poisoned track. Yeah, radiation is no joke.
It's just
Yeah, radiation is both a disease and a poison. So radiation sickness is the disease, and radiation is the poison that hits the constitution track. It's rough.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's hard.
It's really bad.
it's excellent. Maybe I should buy some sort of radiation lining for my armor going forward. Because this does not seem fun.
Well, for what it's worth, that's a general rule for this campaign. Sickness and disease and the intervals that has is all to the DM's discretion, so you don't have to track your own diseases. I'll do that for you.
Oh, I've just seen as well. I've looked it up. Symptoms of radiation sickness include nausea, vomiting, and the loss of hair. I'm going to lose my precious beard.
Oh, not the beard!
Not the beard. Take any other hair, but not the beard.
Well, while you are dizzy, you are not dismissed on the vista in front of you, same as Eldenesh and Balan, because guys, in the distance, you see a dale. You see a city of grey, silver, and bleak gold, which lies dormant. It seems rusted and dead for decades. On its walls, ancient photon cannons point skywards to the heavens. Towering Gothic spires rise high above, connected with archways. And amidst this desert, you see the floating fortress, which will take uppegandarf's body up to the heavens to revive him, to aid the mortal realms. Let's get to the next map.
Very nice, DM. Take a Benny.
Thank you.
Oh yes, can we give the DM bennies as well?
Yes.
then he can spend his cards for the NPCs.
Whoa. That sounds cool. That you do, like, that you guys come up with cards I can use.
Yeah. If we think you've done a cool thing, you can have a Benny, and you can spend those cards.
Nice. I am giving you full view of the next map.
Oh,
Oh wow.
Jesus H. Christ.
Hey, look, it's Kratos.
It is. There's loads of them. There's a
look, it-
Kratos. There's a Kratos.
There's two
There's
of
a
it.
Kratos. There's a Kratos. And the army of bugs, of course. Right. How are we meant to travel around this map?
Yeah, one
So
moment.
immediately in front of us, there's a massive
You
poly
climb,
tower.
dwarf. You climb.
Alright, I'll give it a go. I'm feeling a bit nauseous. My foot stings. It's probably that weird puddle I stood in. Was throwing up inside of his own helmet. Not pleasant.
Okay. So, yeah, so you are behind this, and Thurbrak, like you asked, like, how are we to maneuver towards this map? What I'd like to do is to treat it isometrically. So, you know, those old games, Icewind Dale, Planescape Torment, and all, and Baldur's Gate and stuff like that. You can essentially sort of climb down to these maps and maneuver through as you'd please, and will sort of. That's the cool thing about TTRPGs, that you sort of together find out what counts as cover, what counts as going down, what counts as a check, and stuff like that. For now, you are out of sight, so that's good. And in front of you, it's kind of difficult to deduce what's going on, but from what you can tell, these hypermites right here are sort of gaining ground in the city, and they are also organized somewhat. However, they do appear to be extremely chaotic, and like you can see that they are following a plan, and you can deduce some tactics there, but more often than not, they also sort of go off on their own instinct. Now here, something else is going on entirely. These are the same cultists that you saw a couple of sessions earlier, in service of Kabir, which was the sort of vampire guy you guys saw at first. And the one thing that really stands out is this guy here. He's all holding up a wing. And I can show you to you in Discord so that you have a bit of a better view on the guy. Yeah, I put it in Discord. It's essentially sort of a seer scavenger that's holding up a wing, which incidentally is the wing which was once attached to Siegfried. Was that her name? I don't remember. Yeah, I think it was Siegfried. Yeah. Now, the people on the map do incite some worry. For example, Balan, your sister is right here. And here you have the leader of the Summer Enclave. And here you have one of the guards of Anjou. And right here, these are the last rulers of Gundren. Guys, what do you do? That is the episode now, guys. I'm just gonna train up, and then I'm gonna boot up some Dark and Darker. See if we can get to a bit of a high level there. And maybe I'll make some other video, but maybe not. I don't know. Really great to listen back to these episodes so that I can plan ahead for the next one. You're so in the moment when you run a game. Oh really? Nothing? Yep. Okay. Sacrifice. Probably should pick this up. Alright. I mean, we could do that quest. Alright, guys. I'll see you later, yeah?